Hey there, this is Dr. Anna Maria Helt, herbalist and microbiologist at osada.com. And we've got Girly in the background. You can't see Milo, he's by my feet. So, welcome to part 8 of our Rocky Mountain Medicinal Plant Walk. Hopefully you've been with me from the beginning, but if you're just joining now, we will be at, well, virtually 9,000 plus feet elevation in the San Juan mountain range of the Rockies to see some really great medicinal plants that are common at higher altitudes here. A number of these plants, though, can be found elsewhere, even if you're not in the Rocky Mountains. And so I'm diving into the medicinal uses of these plants. If you want to get caught up, there are 7 other installments of this walk that I started in late spring of last year, 2021, to look at plants earlier in their growth and development stages. And then I've gone back in summer to look at the plants as they're a little farther along and to talk about their medicine. So I've been doing a couple to several plants for each of these installments because otherwise it would be a 2.5-hour long video for you to get through. This shrub here is a honeysuckle. So this is twinberry, Lonicera genus, Lonicera involucrata. And again, I apologize if I'm butchering that name. This one is already kind of past its peak bloom. Boy, it's easy to miss up here. You come out one week and nothing's quite blooming yet, and then you come out a couple weeks later and things have already kind of shot their wad, as it were. Mountain plants, they have a short growing season here, so they do have to grow and mature and do their thing quickly. So twinberry, you can see those 2 flowers growing as a pair here, and I'm sure there's a botanical name for that. I'm not a botanist. Later in the season, those will turn into 2 dark-colored berries. Now, those berries are toxic. They're emetic. That said, this plant does have a history of medicinal use. It's one that I've been meaning to start playing with because it's so common around here, and I just haven't yet. I don't know anybody that is using it. If you are one, reach out and let me know what you think. So while the berries are toxic, the bark, so here you can see the bark underneath, has been used topically as a poultice for injuries and also for stimulating lactation. So a first aid poultice and also on the breast for stimulating lactation. The leaves have also been used as a spit poultice as well. And the plant itself has been used as a tea for broken bones, for bladder support, for respiratory issues, for weakness. But again, I have not yet played with it, but I'm really curious to start because it is common. And while I do love native plants, this is one, I tend to only use those that are the most common because we don't want pressure on our more delicate, more rare native plants. So this one's common. And if you've ever heard Dara Seville talk, a really great herbalist from Albuquerque, she talks about shrub medicine. So as the climate is starting to shift, which is even more, rapidly noticeable here in the Southwest, what is more common are the shrubs. Now this is, we are in a riparian area. We'll have to see how this particular species does as it gets drier here. But right now, this is extremely common and a great shrub to maybe consider experimenting with as shrub medicine. Again, the berries are emetic. They're toxic. Now, honeysuckle. You may be familiar with Japanese honeysuckle, a different Lonicera species than this one. The specific name is escaping me at the moment. That one is cooling, and I have used that plant for things like hot flashes, hot kind of flu, cold, acute issues as well, so respiratory issues. I don't know the energetics of this plant, if it's the same or not. Just because it's in the same genus doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same energetic. So twinberry, yellow flowers with kind of greenish, pinkish bracts turning to dark colored berries and a little bit later in the season. Here we go. Here's Star Solomon's plume. So I just got done saying I was going to see if I can find some growing near the regular old Solomon's plume, and here it is. So this is Myathemum stellatum, and the name comes from the star-shaped flowers at the end of the stalk here, at the top of the stalk. Very similar and same medicinal uses as Myathemum racemosum, Solomon's plume, or false Solomon seal. But the leaves, again, the leaves are narrower, the flowers are a slightly different shape. They do tend to overlap in the same habitats. Voila. So same genus, different species, same use. So here we've got a wild raspberry or blackberry plant, some rubus or another. And again, you can use the leaves like thimbleberry and red raspberry leaf in a tea for nutritive properties, as a uterine tonic, for menstrual flooding, those sorts of things. It's astringent as well as nutritious. I don't use, if I have a client or myself on red raspberry leaves, I don't use them day in and day out, that tea. I'll kind of do it every other day so as not to over astringe or over dry. This one's just gotten done blooming here, but it hasn't fruited out just yet. We have a whole multitude of wild berries here in the Rockies, and I'll eat a little bit when I'm out on a hike, but I like to leave it for the bears and other animals that rely on them a lot more than I do. So rubus species here, R-U-B-U-S. And again, I don't know if it's a blackberry, which is common, or a raspberry, which is also pretty common. They're pretty closely related. Thanks for watching. There will be future installments of this in the coming weeks. I have lots more plants to go before this plant walk is finished, and it's time to film another one when spring gets here. So be well, everybody. Take care.